What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of VCC Live. This is episode 51. It's yet unnamed. I have other things on my mind right now with Irma heading into Florida. So this might be an abbreviated VCC Live tonight, maybe half hour, 45 minutes. We have just a few things to talk about. And yeah, I'm Kevin. Jay is that way. Nick is that way. Matt couldn't be with us tonight. They are actually traveling somewhere. So it's the three of us, and we hope you guys that are joining us live are doing great, and we hope that if you're in Florida or the Southeast that you're taking precautions for Hurricane Irma that will be here this weekend.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we'll get to that in a little bit. So Jay, what's been up, man? It's been a few weeks since we did an episode. How you been? What's going on?
It has. I've been swampy. You know, this whole two jobs things. It's for the birds. I'm all set. I think I'm done.
You're done with it?
I think I'm done. Yeah, no more juice. I'm done. No, it's been good. It's been a good couple of weeks. I have been busy. Had some shoulder issues, which comes up from time to time, but I'm dealing with it. So we're good.
Cool. Nick, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Busy like always. Cranking out videos. I'm not traveling anywhere in September, so I'm really looking forward to being at home for a month. It's going to be crazy. And then in October, we're going on tour, so I'm basically going to be gone all of October. So that's
I'm going to put in for you in March. You're coming to NVE in March.
In March?
In March, yes.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Plenty of notice.
That is plenty of notice. I'll mark it on my calendar. What is it? Is it in Connecticut?
It is in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yes. At a and it's actually at a casino, so there's stuff
cool.
to do. Yeah.
If I go, is Kevin from VP Live gonna try to fight me or make fun of me or something?
I'm gonna make you guys go to dinner together so that you can arm wrestle.
Exactly. Just lock us in a closet. We can hash things out.
I actually had a conversation with him on the phone. I probably shouldn't talk about that. What was it, last week or the week before? And I kind of let him have it.
Did you?
About all that stuff.
I've always liked Kevin. I'm not sure where we went wrong, but somewhere we went wrong, and I'd rather we weren't wrong. But now something went wrong.
Something went wrong somewhere. But
so we're clear, not this Kevin.
No.
Things are right.
I've always been good with Kevin Skipper.
Yeah.
Always good with Skipper.
How's that, George? George says my mic is low. Does that sound any better? I turned up the levels just slightly. Anyway, I know it's going to take a second for it to get to him, but he can let me know. Yeah, I've been doing well here in Florida, except until this last week. You know, everyone's hearts went out to Houston, and you know we saw what Harvey did there, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. There was a completely different type of storm that just sat around and drenched them with 50 inches of rain or whatever. This one is just a much more powerful, much faster moving, but the wind damage and stuff is going to be good. Not good. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat as well. It's going to be very bad here for Florida. And I don't know, guys. I got the levels turned up. I don't know. I'm going to start peaking soon, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. If you need to, I guess, turn your sound up a little. Yeah, they keep shifting the course around of this hurricane, and it's kind of starting to freak me out. And I'm a Florida native, so we don't usually get freaked out about hurricanes unless it's like a 4 or above, and it depends on where it's going to track. And in this one, they had it going east down like the Miami way and then out over the Atlantic. Now they have it coming straight up the center of the state, and we live just north of Tampa. So if that's the case, then yeah, we'll probably leave Saturday. If it changes between now and Saturday, we'll keep an eye on it. If it shifts back to the east or something, then we'll probably stay. But yeah, it's been crazy. If you guys are in Florida or anywhere in this area, just be safe. If you do decide to stay, make sure you got everything outside taken care of. But if you can leave. It's not worth it, at least for a couple of days until it passes, and then try to make your way back. So that's what we're going to do.
And don't even try to barbecue.
No barbecuing. I did go buy some stuff today, like in case we do lose electricity and we do stay, where we can cook on the grill and some canned goods and dry goods and stuff like that. But anyway,
are they recommending that you evacuate? Have they told you anything officially? Do they do that? They tell you officially.
Not officially yet, but the European model of hurricane forecasting is the most accurate. I guess they have the best computer system and the best processing power, and it's the most accurate and the one that most people rely on. And it did have it going over Miami and then keeping out in the Atlantic. And then the latest one I saw from tonight, a couple hours ago, shifted it to where now it's coming up the Keys and literally straight up the center of Florida, which would, hit us pretty good here in the Tampa Bay area as well. So no, I don't think that they'll know for sure until Friday night or Saturday morning exactly what path it's gonna take. So I'm gonna wait until Saturday morning to decide if we're leaving or not, because it wouldn't be until sometime early in the morning on Sunday that it reached up this area. So,
well, you can come over. I have a very big couch.
Yeah, I want to go as short as distance as possible. So driving back, we have 3 cats, a dog, 2 kids, my mom, and probably a bunch of our friends. If we can get a place big enough, we'll just drive together. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking like Pensacola, Mobile, Alabama area, but it's looking like everything's sold out there. So it probably is going to be somewhere in North Carolina, heading up towards the Raleigh area, maybe a little north of there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the blacklist, and this is something that came out from the Vaping Legion within the last couple of months. And I don't know if I think Jay and Nick said both of them hadn't heard of this yet, so I'm just going to explain to you kind of briefly what it is. And we can throw that around for a few minutes, and that'll probably be all we're talking about tonight. So the blacklist, the Vaping Legion is, I guess, a group of consumer advocates. They're not in the industry. They're not. They're consumers who, I guess, are looking out for the industry and the labeling that's going on in the industry and how it reflects on the future of the industry. So they have created a blacklist of labels that are obviously childish marketing or cartoony labels or direct copyright or intellectual property infringement. That's pretty much what it is. There are some people that are on the list, and I think that a lot of people have been having issues with it, with some of the people on the list. And anyway, the point of it is, what do you guys think of a consumer push to help change the industry, to make it go into the right direction, to help get rid of some of this cartoony marketing that, again, we've talked about this before many times. I think all 3 of us are in agreement that adults should be able to do whatever they want to do. We're adults. But we also have to take into consideration the perception that politicians and those in the position of power, what do they see when they look at these labels? And if they're going to be pounding us with the argument that you guys are marketing to children and trying to hook another generation of people addicted to nicotine just for your own profit margin, we need to kind of comply with that a little bit and then try to eliminate that to some degree, or to the fullest extent that we can, so that the industry can stay around forever and help smokers convert and eventually make smoking obsolete. So what do you guys think of a consumer drive to do that? And do you think a blacklist is a good approach, or what do you think?
Nick, or
either one, whichever you get. I know you guys hadn't heard of it before, and I just kind of explained it to you.
We might actually agree on this, so I'd like to hear from Jay.
Okay. Okay. Ultimately, I think this is great. I think that the folks that need to drive this are the consumers, and to have a group, for good or ill, that has a strong impact on the consumer community, particularly in social media. I think it's a hell of a good thing. I really do. They're not calling, for throwing anybody in jail or anything like that. As far as I know, they're just saying, hey, avoid these particular juice companies.
Or they're asking the juice companies in particular to rebrand.
Yeah, even better. If they start there and they get, they kind of get, they get the tail end of the stick, then they're moving on and putting them on blast. That's fine. That's what capitalism, that's what free marketing is all about.
Yeah.
What I would caution is that sometimes you go down this road of becoming professionally offended, and say 6 months from now, when they don't have any targets left, they're going to lower the bar for what's considered, obviously this is pure conjecture on my part. There's nothing to indicate that they would do this, but I've seen this in other industries over the years, other, advocacy industries outside of electronic cigarettes over the years. And I would just caution against that type of mentality where, oh, we've got nothing else to pick on, so let's lower the bar for shit that we need to pick on.
I can see where that probably would become an issue at some point. I don't think that. Well, I mean, at this point, there's plenty of targets for them to target because there's plenty of e-liquid labels out there that need to be changed and or dropped completely off the market.
Right, and I would just caution them against going down that slippery slope where all of a sudden they're starting to pick on, labels and branding that maybe should be left alone.
Fair point.
Right.
What do you think, Nick?
Here's the thing. They're just advertising bad branding. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
That's
too.
all
That was one thing I was going to bring up too. Do you
I
guys
get it,
think
because this is something I've thought of doing before and ultimately decided against it multiple times because all it does is advertise bad branding. And if people don't care, they're going to go to the blacklist and be like, oh, that Dripmore, that looks really cool. I'm going to buy that. It's going to expose these bad brands. I'm just assuming. I think it's just going to advertise bad brands. I think what is a better way to do it is get people to care. Get people to blacklist vendors on their own without having one-stop shopping for all your bad branding needs. Like, get people to give a shit. And for the record, I'm not against Dripmore's branding because it's branded the way that it is. I'm only against Dripmore's branding because it's branded the way that it is right now. Because we're under this microscope of critique and legislation and the public perception and all this stuff. If vaping was cemented as an institution and was safe, legal, and accessible for everybody, and we had different legislation in the United States, I would absolutely be buying that poorly branded stuff. The only reason it's poorly branded is because of the state of the industry right now.
Right.
In the future, when vaping is much more accepted, we might have some wiggle room.
Yeah, but we don't right now, and that's the point.
We don't right now, and that's why I'm against it. I'm not against the branding overall. I'm just against it right now.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm not either, by the way. I can give a shit less when anyone puts on their bottles.
Right,
I think that they're adult products, and if people enforce the law and only people over the age of 18 or whatever the age is in your jurisdiction to buy vaping products or smoking or whatever, I don't think I would have an issue with it either. But the point is, it's hurting the industry at this moment in time, and this a fledgling industry that's going to get hampered for decades to come because of people who are irresponsible in their marketing and know exactly what they're doing. They're in it for a cash grab, in my opinion. There's if you have a good product, you could put a piece of paper sticker on there and write Nick's Juice on it or whatever, and if it's good, it would sell. But they're going for and some of these. I'm assuming some of these liquids are decent e-liquids. I don't know why that they feel the need to put cartoons on there or steal someone else's intellectual property. But
So I mean, I have a question though, and Nick, this is to you, directly to your point. How exactly are they releasing this blacklist? Like, are they posting pictures of it, or are they is there just literally just a list?
There's a list. It's an image of the blacklist, and it just has a list of which I wish they would alphabetize because I look at it and try to. If I look at it and try to find things, it's not alphabetized. But anyway, it's just a list, screenshot, JPEG, whatever.
I can't find the list anywhere.
I'm not.
I've tried using Google.
Anyway, I'm not going to pull up the exact list because
I'll try to find it.
Yeah, you can. I'll send you guys a link to it afterwards, or maybe if I can find it. I've only seen it on Facebook a few times from a couple people. So anyway, I guess the whole idea behind it, though, it is a consumer-driven initiative. So I think it's a good thing. Sometimes I think that the approach that they take in posting it, I've seen a couple posts that I don't agree with the wording on. One of them said something, eat a dick, get with it or eat a dick or something like that. I just don't know that having that message attached to it. Too. But you know what?
let's be more grown up.
Yeah. Eat a dick. Again, I don't necessarily agree with with the verbiage they use sometimes in trying to portray it. I think if it was done a little bit differently, maybe they would have more success. And it's usually contentious when people, but the idea behind it is a good idea. And I do think that these e-liquid companies need to reflect on what they're doing. We've taken a hard line stance at Vaping Convention Circuit over the last couple of years, and it's getting even tighter now. We are literally looking at everything before people, when they apply, when they're setting up, we're looking at everything. We just don't want that image to be the image of our industry. If a legislator walked into one of our events, and we're actually getting into, I had a conference call the other day with 4 other event organizers, and we're going to hopefully work together and come up with some sort of a, policy, like industry-wide for the vaping convention and trade show. Some sort of a policy that we can agree on to stop allowing this type of proliferation, at least at events anyway, of negative labels, cartoony advertising to minors and intellectual property theft and stuff like that. So, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you guys have any other points. There's a lot of comments in chat that I didn't get a chance to look at yet.
Let me see the comments.
Flitzy had something to say about the Legion.
Yeah, the Vaping Legion, the same ones that doxed. I don't know what that means. Malice dolls, info, instant death threats. Yeah, I mean, again, some of their methods that they have, I don't know what that whole thing was about. I briefly saw a few posts on it. I try not to get involved in things that don't directly concern me, so I'm not really sure what that was about.
Even IP theft, look, IP theft should not be any of our concerns, I don't think. I feel like that's a discussion that the vendor or the manufacturer, that's between the original copyright holders or trademark holders and the liquid vendor.
If the original product is something that's directly aimed at children, for instance, like gummy bears,
absolutely,
then that is an issue.
Sour Patch Kids.
If you're making
that's the trifecta of douchebaggery, though.
Right.
If you're looking at something like if a kid sees a bottle that has a Pikachu on it or some shit, that's and I'm certain that these companies they don't have the breadth and scope to catch everything that's being infringed on their intellectual property. So, I mean, if it's obviously something that is a child product that's being infringed on, I mean, like Jay said, that's a trifecta of douchebaggery. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But if it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what I don't know what people. I don't know why they can't do something original to begin with. But if it's anything remotely that a child
and that's you know what that's the thing is that's what pisses me off, or that's part of what pisses me off so much about the way that the e-liquid industry has gone, is that it went from a craft industry where people weren't concerned with marketing. They were concerned with crafting, stellar juices and taking their time and doing all this and that. And it became a marketing game. It became just slap a bunch of sucralose in a bottle, and then it's all about how many people you know, how flashy your labeling can be, and this and that and this and that. But now they're even taking shortcuts there. They're stealing other people's freaking ideas. Not that this is a new thing, but they can't even do the marketing creatively anymore. They're just stealing somebody else's shit and slapping it on a damn label.
Yeah, creating good liquids and growing an unknown brand that doesn't look like Sour Patch Kids or Gummy Bears or something, that all takes a lot of time and energy and commitment and money,
and creativity.
Or you could just make an extra sweet strawberry flavor, put a really bright graphic on it, pay Vape Porn $1,500 to post it on their Instagram. Boom, instant hype, instant marketing, cash in your pocket. Yeah, that's what happens.
Do you think that? So we've already touched on this briefly, but do you think that by sharing? So I get an email, I get emails all the time from people with questionable products, but for some reason, one of them the other day, they had applied to VCC B2B in Chicago this December, and I clicked on their link and looked at their website, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, it was they had direct knockoffs of. I forgot the thing. My kids used to watch it. It's not Pikachu. What's the name of that whole genre?
Anime?
Not anime. That specific one where Pikachu's from. What's it called?
Pokemon?
Pokemon, yeah. Pokemon. So it was a direct knockoff of like Pokemon, and also some one of the apps that you can download for your phone, like one of the Candy Crush type games or something. Anyway, they had directly knocked off that, and I wrote them back an email basically telling them that that type of marketing is not going to be at VCC events ever, and that if they decided to rebrand, blah blah blah. So I get those emails all the time from people, and I think I don't know. It just makes me, like you said, Nick, it takes a lot of work and dedication to get a good product to the point where it becomes a really good seller. And it takes decent marketing. And if you're taking shortcuts and you're worried about, I understand business is an aspect of it as well, but you also have to understand that we're looking long term. If you focus on long term returns from your product, it'll beat the short term gains that you're going to get every day of the week. So. I wish these people would realize that. But anyway, the point of it is I shared the picture, like a screenshot of that, with a screenshot of my email that I had replied to them. I cut out their company name, but someone, Fig Ramsey, actually commented on my post, and he's like, you have to understand that you have a lot of people that look at your post, Kevin, and they're now seeing this picture, and they're not going to read the words you wrote, which are good words. They're going to see the picture that you put. And they're going to say, wow, is Kevin endorsing this? Or, even something subconsciously. So I don't share those pictures anymore. And the blacklist doesn't have pictures on it. It just has company names.
It does on their Instagram.
Yeah, but they also do share pictures of stuff, like that as well. And I mean, as soon as I read Fig's comment, and I know this, but I just was so pissed I just couldn't believe it that I shared it. And then I went back and deleted the picture and edited the post to say that I took the picture down because I don't want them to get any more exposure. But do you think that the negative exposure? I know someone at some point in history said any publicity is good publicity. I can't remember who said it.
Yep,
but I mean,
it's true.
Do you think that it's helping the hype, or do you think? I mean, I know that they've had some success in getting companies to rebrand, which is great. They've already had some success with it. So
yeah. Who have they got to rebrand?
I don't remember the exact names, but it's probably it's several. I don't remember who they were though, but there are some that they've had to rebrand.
I'd be interested to know who they got to rebrand. But honestly, if I look at their Instagram and it says blacklisted, and then there's a bottle that looks like Nilla Vapors, I've never heard of that brand before. So now I know of a new brand that's,
Yeah, but
they're giving these brands. You can promote responsible branding without promoting bad branding.
Yeah.
So by posting pictures of bad branding, you're promoting bad branding.
Perfect example of a great idea badly executed.
Very poorly executed.
Do you think that, well, the list itself is just a list. There's no pictures. So do you think that the sharing of the imagery, then what you're saying is the sharing of the imagery is probably not a good idea because it's giving them more exposure? Maybe just stick to names. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, even that, or just promote responsible brands. That's all you have to do is promote responsible brands.
Ignore
Candy King. Just fucking ignore them. Sorry. Just ignore them. Don't promote them. Don't post their old labels. Don't post their new labels. Don't mention Candy King to any of your followers ever.
Well, just here's the thing too, though. Another key,
make people give a shit. Make people who see that not want to buy it.
Another argument too is that if distro companies and vape shops don't get on board with not carrying this type of e-liquid, to what end is a blacklist going to accomplish? So I think it's going to start with the distro companies because they're the ones who are buying boatloads of these to send out to the shops that they cater to. So how would you guys? This is not something I think that they're doing, but I'm saying, how would you guys? What do you think is the solution to get the distros to stop buying this shit?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's what I think is good about what the Legion is doing, is that it's a consumer-based organization. It's going to start with the consumers, especially in that niche-y 20 to 28 year demographic. If we can get those guys to think that, hey, good branding is cool, then
right. Make people care.
They're going to stop buying. bullshit. You know,
Well, I mean, you can still have nice looking labels. You can even do any edgy thing you want to, bright colors or cool lettering or something, as long as you're not putting something on there that someone would look at and say, that's appealing to a child, a cartoon.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can still
Even
have
just
some
the
really
word candy. I don't.
But
think
well,
even the word candy, exactly.
maybe that's another
That should be
conversation
on
we
there.
could have. What's another kind of edgy sort of branding that we could do that maybe politicians wouldn't?
I mean, it might be right on the borderline, but they look at it and say, you know what? They think to themselves, there's nothing I can criticize about that.
Well, like severed arms.
Oh, well, no. I wouldn't go that far.
Or like,
Yeah.
like, but
death metal, just Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse e-liquid.
Yeah. Just blood and
Guar. Actually, doesn't Guar have an e-liquid line?
guts. Yeah, they do it through Mount Baker Vapor. Yeah.
Well, and then too, since I'm a positive person, this is something I've been thinking about the last week or so, or 2 weeks. Whenever I first saw this blacklist, I mean, it's always good to maybe call out people who are doing the wrong thing, but maybe they should start a whitelist as well and say these people are doing it the right way, to give examples of what people should be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And Flitzy says it falls into the argument that there's a blacklist, but nobody knows what the standard is that's being used, and that was my point originally.
Yeah.
Which was, it's a slippery slope. What happens once everybody stops, going after kids, and they got all this attention because of this blacklist? They're going to want to keep that blacklist going, and the bar is going to be moved.
Yeah.
That's just kind of something that.
So maybe if they put out some sort of criteria, this is how we're determining what goes on the blacklist. That would be a good thing, and maybe also doing a whitelist, and people can apply to this to be added to the whitelist and say review our brand and see
pay
what you
them
think.
money.
No, I don't think it would ever come down to a monetary thing, but I think that they could.
Oh, sure it will.
No,
It's
I don't
always
think
going to
that's
be a
the
monetary
issue.
thing.
Sure it will, one way or the other.
It will be.
There were some advocacy organizations 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago that, very altruistic folks. All
we're doing is bringing attention to it. As soon as people stop buying poorly branded e-liquid, we just have to make people care.
But how
as
do
soon
you
as
do
people
that, though?
stop buying it,
How do you do that?
promote good branding and communicate the repercussions of what'll happen if we have constant bad branding. I'm not going to name names. I talked to shop owners at ECC. I talked to people who run huge distribution chains at ECC, and they said, I wish I didn't have to carry Candy King, but it just sells so fucking much.
Right.
It's money. That's all it is. I mean, this was the head of a huge distribution chain in the United States. I wish I didn't have to sell Candy King, but it sells so fucking much.
Yeah. Well, do you think it would sell as well with good labels? Have you tried it? I
No.
haven't. Did you see any good at all?
I've never tried it.
I've never tried it either. I don't know.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it tastes sweet.
I'm sure. Well, anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to touch on.
No, good night.
Anything else? Jay wants to go watch the Patriots game.
Enemies tonight. Anyway. It's going to work. The blacklist is going to work until there's a brand on there that not everybody agrees with.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that happened
And
recently.
then people will go, well, maybe they don't need to be on there.
Yeah. I think that happened recently.
That's what's going to happen.
But anyway, that'll be an issue that they need to work out and determine how they're going to proceed forward. I think communication is always the best avenue to take. So if you communicate clearly what you're doing and everyone knows what the standard is or why someone's on the list, then I think that's going to go a long way to saving a lot of grief in the future.
Oh, so not to interrupt, but Max Kim has been bugging you, Nick, about.
I know. I'm going to reply right now.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Sure. I just don't want him to think we're ignoring him.
Daily Nick Bissett says start a distro called Responsible Branding.
That'll catch on.
And he says the UK is even worse than here. I've heard that, actually. I've heard that there's
I'm gonna start a distro called Mom and Dad Are Cool.
But again, this goes to Nick's point, Nick Bissett. This goes to Nick Green's point that the viewing, the way that vaping is viewed in the UK is that it is a life-saving product and that it should be promoted. So therefore, they have more leeway in advertising than we do in the United States. We're still fighting the battle to legitimize it. So during that time, if we're fighting a battle to legitimize it, and the people who are making the rules are specifically pointing out labels that are terrible or appealing to children, then that's something we need to correct. And to Nick Green's point, to Graham Green's point, if at some point in the future we get to the point where we have more latitude and leeway, then
yes,
I don't think that it should ever. I don't think e-liquid ever should have anything referencing candy or cartoons on it. I just don't think that it should.
That doesn't.
But that doesn't mean that at some point in the future.
Yeah, I'm with Nick.
Doesn't super bother me.
Philosophically, it really doesn't bother me. It's really it's a PR issue at this point.
And that's it. And the idea is that in the UK, they've already passed that stage. The government there realizes it's a life-saving technology, so they have more latitude. They have more leeway in the marketing, and we're not there. So what do we do?
We're not there.
We change. We have to adapt, and we have to make sure that this product stays around for smokers.
The Drip Club, I just want to say, I absolutely agree with you. We need to keep the industry around for smokers, and there's always going to be responsible, adult-oriented branding, liquids, products, devices, and then there's always going to be Candy King. Yeah. And that type of branding is all over the cannabis industry. I don't know if you've ever looked at the cannabis industry. It's all over the cannabis industry.
Gummy bears. I mean,
gummy bears.
It's not even just it's not even the branding. It's the product itself.
No, I know. I was in a dispensary in Nevada, and they had shatter and wax and stuff with like, oh, here's fucking Mickey Mouse with stoner eyes on the packaging, and it's like, yep, we're just selling it. It's rampant. It's everywhere. It's not exclusive to vaping. I think some of these vape companies looked at that.
But the left is pro marijuana. That's the thing.
Right.
Left is not pro vape.
Left is not pro vape. Generally speaking, politician-wise, not people.
Yes, obviously I'm generalizing. Obviously.
Right.
Flitz had a comment. He says, of course, devil's advocate, how many years have we tried to stop bad advertising, IP theft, and child marketing? This isn't even a new thing. Have we forced any change? Any significant change, not forcing one or two brands large change? Well, again, this is an initiative, from what I've seen anyway, that just started recently. So I guess that's to be seen, Flitz. I'm not really sure yet. Hopefully it does have some wide expanding reach. It depends, I guess, on how many consumers get involved in boycotting the brands that are hurting the industry. So that's to be seen. I guess we don't know that answer yet. Tommy says, can e-juice companies sue the people who made the blacklist if it hurts their business? Again, this is not legal advice, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to find... First of all, have to be able to prove damage, and with the sheer number of e-liquids there are in the market to replace the ones that are poorly labeled, I don't know that you could do that because there are literally thousands upon thousands of e-liquid companies in the United States.
Plus,
that's a good point, though.
But if by being on the blacklist, they're simply saying that we think your brand is marketing to children. That's opinion. You cannot sue for opinion.
Well, he's saying that if it hurts their business, like what if consumers
doesn't matter. There's no libel if they're stating an opinion.
Yeah. I don't think
that's
so
not libelous. If they said they are intentionally, as a matter of process, trying to attract children, then maybe you'd have a case. Like if you claim that, I found a memo that they wrote internally that says, hey, we need to get more 12-year-olds hooked on our juice. That would be one thing. But if they're just saying we think that these brands are marketing to children, that's an opinion. There's nothing libelous about that.
Right. And we need to stop promoting bad branding.
Options.
Even if we think we're trying to publicly shame them, or bring them down or anything, by posting a picture of bad branding, you're just promoting bad branding, even if you say blacklisted. Sorry, Vaping Legion. That's just how I feel. You need to make people care and promote good brands instead.
Oh, I think having an actual
white
list is okay.
Kevin's whitelist idea is a much better idea.
I think a whitelist is a good idea to help promote the brands that are doing it correct. And I think that if they're going to have a blacklist, just don't show just don't show images. Just don't show images. I mean, I try my best, and again, I had a slip up last week, but and then I deleted the image when Fig Ramsey kind of corrected me a little bit, which was appropriate to do because I have a lot of people that look at my post and I gave them a lot of publicity probably in the couple hours that it was up. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to see the image and at least have in their mind that they're curious about it. So
I could never repost any of the blacklisted posts they have on Instagram. I would never repost that ever in a million years. Instead, I would post like Ben Johnson's really awesome responsible branding. Shout out to Ben Johnson's for being responsible. Oh, here's Poet. Shout out to Poet. Poet's always had really good juice and amazing branding. Check out Poet. Whitelists, so much more productive than being professionally offended.
Yeah, if we can find a way to do it, like if there's a way to do it without monetizing it, like Jay said, it'd have to be,
right.
And maybe part of the problem is that so many of the responsible and influential reviewers stopped reviewing e-liquid.
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
I feature e-liquids in my vlogs, but it's always responsible branded stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I think we've had a good discussion on it, and I see a lot of comments and stuff. I'm going to get back to looking for places to stay if we have to leave Florida. So hopefully that's
don't forget to smash that like button.
Yeah, I forgot to say that the entire episode. Don't forget to smash that like button down there, guys. It's right. It's right over. I always get confused with the mirror image of this, but anyway, it's down there somewhere. Hit the like button if you would, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the link once we get it posted, which will hopefully be by tomorrow. And any closing thoughts, Jay? Besides go Patriots.
Oh crap. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's show.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Are the Patriots playing on Thursday night next week too?
I don't know. Nick, any closing thoughts?
No. I feel like covered a lot. And just stop promoting bad branding, and it'll go away.
Well, I don't know if
or start your own juice company. It only costs a nickel.
As long as there's capitalism, people are going to do whatever it takes to get that almighty dollar.
Just stop buying it, and people keep buying it because they keep seeing it everywhere. If you see something controversial, I mean, come on. When I was younger, whenever your parents said, "Well, don't do this," you're like, well, I'm going to be doing that. See something that's like, ooh, controversial juice. Don't buy this juice. How many people are going to go, yeah, don't buy it? And then how many people are going to go, I kind of want to try it now?
Yep.
They're just promoting bad branding. I get the idea. I get their motivation behind it. I just don't. I think they went around it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's just me. Sorry.
I have to lean. I have to lean with you.
This is a show of opinion, so you're allowed to have your own.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Sticking to it. All right, guys. Well, we will hopefully be back next week. It depends on if everything's standing in Florida and if we have electricity. If not, maybe 2 weeks. But keep you updated on what's happening. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Just search for VCCLive altogether. You'll find it. Like the page. And that's where we post updates as to when the show's happening and what's going on. So, have a great weekend. If you're in Florida or the Southeast, please try to stay safe. Leave if you have to. You can always come back and hopefully have a place to stay. These are the kind of things you're thinking about when a Category 5 hurricane's heading towards you. Anyway, see you guys. Have a great week. Remember, you don't have to do everything.
Stay safe, Kevin. Stay safe.
You do have to do something. Get involved.